Hey everybody, I'm Bret Mix. Welcome to my SummerSlam 1993 review. My channel is Macho Wrestling 101. As always, hit like and subscribe if you like my videos. I do the history of wrestling videos daily and I stick up to date with wrestling, so I think you'll like it. We're here for today doing a SummerSlam 1993 review in the big anthology. It's going to be from Auburn Place, the Auburn Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan, which is pretty much a suburb of Detroit. Pretty much, it is a suburb of Detroit. On August 30th, 1993, it was Heenan and Gene Okerlund's last WWF pay-per-views before going to WCW. This was Ted DiBiase's last in-ring match, and he opened the show against the bad guy, Razor Ramon. And he dominated him pretty much the entire match until Ramon came back at the end and won with the Razor's Edge at 7:32. So he opened up SummerSlam with a 2.5-star opener, which is a victory between which features Ramon over DiBiase. So DiBiase is the loser, but he continued on to be a manager after this. 2.5 stars for the opener. The tag team titles were up next as the Steiner Brothers, who had their sister and mother in attendance, took on the Heavenly Bodies. Steiner Brothers, obviously from Michigan. This is in Michigan. They had their jackets and everything. The Steiners can work a good match with anybody, but if you put them in there with two veterans of the ring, Jimmy Del Rey and Tom Pritchard, they're going to turn out something good. I love the Steiners Head Shrinkers match from WrestleMania 9. It's still one of the most underrated WrestleMania matches I think there is. This match was good. It ended up with a interesting finish because Jim Cornette was in the Heavenly Bodies corner. He had them hyped up from Smoky Mountain Wrestling, his little promotion that Cornette ran. And he had his racket at ringside, but what happened is Pritchard went to dump Scotty to the floor. Rick hit a power slam on Del Rey. Pritchard got the racket from Cornette. The ref was on the other side of the ring, and Del Rey up top for a moonsault. Scott pulled his brother out of the ring, and Del Rey hit Pritchard with the racket. So he went to go hit Rick Steiner, but he ducked, and he hit Pritchard, did Del Rey. Scott then hit the Frankensteiner on Del Rey, and Rick Steiner pinned Del Rey, and the Steiner brothers are the victorious. This was a very good match. I give it 3 stars and a quarter. I think it just was a great tag team match. That's all there is to it. Next up, we have the Intercontinental title on the line as Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect. These two guys have great chemistry, like Bret and Perfect have, like Bret and Shawn have. So you would expect something classic, but the finish was just a countout victory. Diesel got involved, sent Perfect to the corner, and Shawn was already out on the outside. So Perfect got counted out. I think they didn't want one of them to go over. I don't think they wanted either of them to get a loss, or sustain a loss here. So I think they just had this finish to protect both, honestly. And I think they were capable of a lot more. So it's a good match. I rate it 3 stars. It's a good match, but for these guys, you want to think they'd be in the 4-star category at this time in their careers. But it was a good match for them, so that's 3 stars, which is a great rating, but for them, it leaves a little bit to be desired. Next, we had the young 1-2-3 kid who was just 20 at the time. Oh, man, he looked like a kid at this time, too. He took on IRS, Irwin R. Shyster. The King Jerry Lawler would make funny jokes during this match about the kid. He tried to... no, sorry. I read the King in my notes. I read the King in my notes, so I said Jerry Lawler, but it's kid, not King. Man, I must need glasses. Sorry about that. This was a basic match. It was an inside cradle that got the job done. IRS, the fans were chanting 1, 2, 3, and IRS ended up getting the victory as he sent the kid to the ropes, and a leaping clothesline. And at 5:44 did the job for IRS to beat 1-2-3 Kid. So I give that about 1.5 stars. Next, they interviewed the Hart brothers, Bruce and Owen Hart, and Owen's in the front row. He would main event SummerSlam the next year, but he's in the front row here this SummerSlam. His hair, you can see why he got a haircut. His hair would look pretty bad in this event. But and him and Bruce had some interesting attire on. Both were in brown suits. And Owen had leather pants with cowboy boots. It was weird. It was weird attire, but nothing. It was 1993. Things were weird in 1993. Like achy breaky heart. I say no more. All right, so Bret up next was about to take on the King, so the King found a replacement, and it's Doink the Clown. The King stood by ringside though. Now it's the King, not Kid. I'm not squinting with my eyes, reading my notes, thinking I wrote King Jerry Lawler. This is where I wrote Jerry Lawler. The King was outside the ring for this match between Bret and Doink. Doink threw confetti on fans at ringside as he came down, even on Bruce Hart, who got hot about it. Bruce went to punch Doink, but they went back into the ring and the bell rang. Doink and Bret actually put on a scientific match of sorts. Matt Bourne, who played Doink at the time, was a great wrestler, so he had good chemistry with Bret. These guys put on a pretty good match. I rated 2 stars and 3/4. Bret Hart got the win, obviously. Lawler came into the ring with the crutch and then hit Bret in the head with it after the match, after the sharpshooter. So that would lead to the next match between Bret Hart and the King, as the King was no longer on crutches. He used the crutch and he would walk around fine. So Bret just dominated the King here in this match. Jerry Lawler didn't get any offense in, pretty much. But the King did put up a little bit of offense in the middle of the match, but then with his heel tactics. But then Bret Hart just regrouped and it ended up victory. He gave up to the sharpshooter at 6:42. So I rate this match again 2 stars and 3/4. This was actually better than I thought it was. I remembered it being. I remember thinking the Bret Hart King match was just a little bit of a squash, but no, this actually had a decent pace and the crowd was hot for it. And Bret Hart is Bret Hart in 1993. Bret Hart could go in there with a broomstick and put on a 5-star match in 1993. That's how good he was. I would say 1993 was his best year, like as forever, everything, like from selling to how the moves looked to how he looked. I think 1993 was his best year. Maybe not for as many classic matches, even though he had the King of the Ring match with Perfect in that year. But just, I think he was in his prime. Like you look to a year, you look in the middle of their career, and I think 1993 was probably Bret's best year. And you just show why here. 2-3-star, 2.5, 3-star match. 2 stars, 3/4 match are there. Anyways, next we got Ludwig Borga. We got Borga taking on Jannetty. This was just a squash. Borga got the victory, so I'll give it 3/4 of a star at 5:15 with the torture rack. I think the submission victory was put over Borga, but I think that this match could have been a little bit shorter. 5 minutes was a little bit too long. Next, we got a rest in peace match between Giant Gonzalez and The Undertaker. So we all remember WrestleMania 9, and if you don't remember, then consider yourself lucky. We're trying to forget it. This one was a bit better, if that means anything. I think WrestleMania 9, I gave it a dud. This one is also a dud, but this one, I don't know. It just felt like they tried to do more with it, but that's not a good thing because it went 8 minutes and 4 seconds. So this one is actually, you know what? What am I saying? Just because I remember WrestleMania 9 with it being outside and just being cheesy, but this one is just as bad. It definitely is just as bad because it went 8 minutes. So I'm keeping the rating of dud, but I take back what I said about it being better than WrestleMania. It definitely is not. It's the shits. But we have a good tag match coming up next. A 6-man tag. Bam Bam Bigelow with the Head Shrinkers took on the Smoking Guns and Tatanka. Constant action all over the ring, like you get in 6-man tags. You don't really get the hot tag spot because there's 2 other guys in there, but you do get a lot of run-ins, and it's hard to officiate. Tatanka did get somewhat of a hot tag though, and then hit Bam Bam, who he was feuding with chops and a body slam, a running DDT. All three heels went on the top rope at one point, and they jumped off, but Tatanka moved. The Guns took out Fatu and Bam Bam. So Tatanka rolled up Samu and got the victory at 11:15. That's how that 6-man tag ended. I gave this match 3 stars and a quarter. It was really action packed, and it was delight to see because we just came off seeing Undertaker, Eric Gonzalez, and Ludwig Borga and Marty Jannetty. So considering we went from 2 squash matches all the way, or two duds matches all the way to this one, maybe that's just why it looked better. But 3 stars and a quarter sounds good for this match, as the baby faces walk away with the victory. Now we had the main event, the WWF title on the line, Yokozuna defending it against Lex Luger. We would rather see this match at WrestleMania 10, and McMahon says at the end, next time Lex Luger beats Yokozuna, he will be WWF champion. Obviously, so that just spoiled that he doesn't win the WWF title. He wins by a countout, but the confetti and the balloons go, and people chant USA, and everyone's happy. But the Fink doesn't do his interruption where he goes, no. What does he say? Oh yeah. However, the belt can change hands at a pay-per-view. Therefore, still champion Yokozuna. I don't know. I used to be able to do Fink's voice. Not so much anymore. I blame it on the partial denture I have. Anyway, none of that, because that would wreck the American parade. But there was a celebration for Luger after he beat Yoko. So yeah, didn't get the title, but he got the count-out victory. They wanted to keep Yoko as a strong monster, which they'd keep up for the next year. So it ultimately looked better when Bret won the title. So I guess you can't really get mad that Luger didn't win, because the LEX Express was a big bomb. So yeah, Yoko kept the title. Luger went over by countout, non-title win. Overall, this SummerSlam, what do you rate it? I don't know. It was a decent show, but decent at best. I mean, I'll give the main event between Luger and Yokozuna 2 stars because it felt big. As for the pay-per-view, I think I'd give it no more than 5.5 out of 10. There was no classics on this card, and there's a couple matches over 3 stars, and the main event was just sort of a letdown. I mean, what didn't really have high expectations. It's Luger versus Yokozuna, but I think 5.5 out of 10 seems fair, because if Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect would have tore the house down, this could be a 6.5, but no, 5.5 seems right. So that's SummerSlam 1993. I can't wait to watch the next ones, because these are the ones where I rewatched them as a kid over and over and over. I'm talking about 94, 95, 96, those ones. So can't wait to get to those. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you back for those reviews. I'm Brett Mix, that's my opinion. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.